Good afternoon guys, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a little bit of short game here at Royal Waterfront. Haven't been out here for a long time. But today guys, we're talking about, we've got a lot of good weather coming in the UK at the moment. The grass is getting firmer. The ground is getting firmer even. The greens are getting firmer, and we've now got to have a lot more options into what kind of shot we need to play when we're out here on the golf course. So I've got around about 105 yards to the flag here, a little bit downhill, so probably playing closer to 100. I've hit a good shot on the par 4 into this position, but I want to show you there's two different ways to play a shot from here. So a lot of people will get down here, take the normal stance, a full stance, a full width stance even, that's the one I'm looking for. And they're going to play this just as if they're playing a full shot. So I've got my 56 here, a full one of these. High into the air, landing still up there, landing soft onto the green, hasn't carried as far as I thought, and as a result has not run out much there. So I'm having to play a very small landing zone there. It has to land exactly where I need it to. It's going to stop pretty quick because of the landing angle. And as a result, it's going to be very hard for me to be pinpoint. And for an everyday golfer, we're not entirely sure if it's going to land 100 one time, then 95. We're not sure how we can control that. So we're not sure how to control the run out. So what I can do there, another option I can play from here is a pitching wedge. And a lot of people say, well, I don't go to that because it's awkward. I like to hit things full. And the reason being is because they don't change the stance, they don't change anything at the setup. So once we're trying to play a 3/4 shot, as opposed to setting up as normal, we're going to narrow this stance. So from this distance here, I'm looking just more than a club width apart. So what's that going to do? It's going to make sure that our low point can be a lot more centered. So if I'm wider and I move off, my low point can be anywhere from here. If I slide, it can be past the ball. Once I narrow my stance, I can't be as fast and as aggressive, so my low point becomes a lot more accurate of where I'm going to strike, or strike the ground, or strike behind the ball. As a result, because we can't swing as fast, we can guarantee a little bit more control on the start direction. We can control the flight a little bit better, and as a result, we can start to know how far that's going to go. So for me, I'm going to go just wider than a club width apart, a little bit closer to the ball position back, and I'm now just going to play this as just past half field, so it's going to be a half swing here. So a lot more direct, coming in lower there, and that's actually landed a little bit short of the green, right on the front edge, but because it's then jumped forwards and ran out a little bit, that's much closer, give or take 4 or 5 feet, than the first shot I hit. A lot easier. Wasn't a perfect strike by any means, but even with a missed strike, that's closer than when I hit a perfect 56. So you see there, I've got two different options of how to play that. And what we're going to do now is go down there and see how far they are away from the flag, because a lot of this is dependent on tour average. So many people for me here, if they don't hit it with inside 10 feet, they go, well, I'm rubbish from 100 yards really. I've only hit it to 25 feet and that's not good. Tour average, you will be interested to see what that is. So let's get down to the green, see how close they are. So we're down on the green now, so first ball here just pitched on the front edge and stopped dead. So it stopped within half a yard, so that is the 56. Hit it perfect, couldn't hit it much better strike wise, but let's see how far that is away from the flag. So that's around about 36 feet away from the flag. So I've hit that perfect. I'm 36 feet. Again, I'm there realistically, tour average. I'm just outside where I'd be expected to 2-putt. So there is a potential of a 3-putt. Second shot, pitching wedge, wasn't a perfect strike. Came in a lot lower, a lot more direct. And now, so with the second ball, with the pitching wedge, not a great strike, like I said, we're looking at 24 feet, which tour average, guys, is 23 feet from 100 yards. So the average of the PGA Tour guys, they're looking at from 100 yards, hitting it to around about 23 feet over the space of a season. Obviously, they're going to hit it closer, they're going to hit it further away, they're going to miss greens. It's not as close as you probably think. The best on tour, guys, is 17 feet. We're looking at probably around about here, so a little bit closer than I was, but that's the best on tour over a season. So both of those, 36 feet and we've got 24 feet, we're then going to be able to think, right, I'm just trying to get out of here. That's an area where I can practice 100 yards. But you see two different options of clubs I can use. The pitching wedge there, change of that setup, low point gets a little bit more consistent. Even a missed strike was better than the best 56 I thought I could hit. Obviously that hole we've just played there didn't have any trouble in front. So obviously if that had trouble in the front, it would have carried into a bunker and then not bounced up onto the green. Whereas the 56 would have carried that. So we're going to go and play a different hole now. We're going to get a little closer to the green and again talk about tour average. But this is going to be a little bit of a series in the coming weeks, the next couple of Fridays, of even when we're further out, thinking about what kind of club you can use, what's going to be more consistent and what we need to change at setup. Right, so a different shot now, a little bit closer to the green, but the test we've got here is it's slightly uphill. So a little bit, the green's raised up, I can see the green, I can see how much green I've got to work with, and I've just been up there and paced this out. So I've got 60 yards to the flag. Again, firm green here on the par 3. I've got around about 40 feet to work with. So you would think there again, I'd be looking at maybe playing this a little bit lower, because a lot of the times in videos I'm saying, right, we want to play it as the most consistent way. But what I see a lot of times on this kind of hole, especially on this hole here, the 4th at Waterfront, it is a par 3, so hopefully you're not here. But a lot of people will come out, I've got a 52 degree here, they're going to get it back in the stance, try and get this running, and it comes out a little bit short into the slope, take some speed out of it. Although that's ran up there, that's not done too bad, but it's very much a very hard, well, it's a very hard shot to know where to land that. If I land that on the green, it might be coming in too low, skip on, run through the back into the snaggy rough, and I've got a very difficult short-sided chip shot. So here on this, because the green's raised, I want to make sure that I'm carrying it onto the green and carrying it probably at least 1/3 of the way to the flag. So around about 15 feet onto the green, allowing for a little bit more of a landing angle. From here, we're not going to generate too much spin. It's not a full shot. We're not going to get as much purchase on the ball. There's not enough speed to get it to check up. So I need to rely a little bit more on the landing angle to take some speed out of that ball. It's going to be very hard to judge that bump and run every single time, whereas we can have a shot here where I know I need to land this around about 45 yards and let it run the rest of the way, around about 50 yards, even a little bit closer. But I can play that now a little bit closer. Stance is nice and narrow because I'm pitching, I'm not too wide. So again, don't try and go wide, because then that makes the low point, like we spoke about on the last hole, very inconsistent. It doesn't allow us to swing too fast. And then from there, I can just make sure that I get that body turning. That ball's now going to land around about 15 feet on and run up towards the flag. So let's get up there now and see which is closer. Again, from there, it wasn't a perfect strike, and you're seeing that's the main key out here. Once I narrow that stance, even if I don't get a perfect strike, I'm still able to get a contact and get that running. That's still better than the 52, which I actually struck very well, but going through the grass and landing into the bank, we can't dictate how close that's going to be. So let's talk about tour averages up on the green again and start to be a little bit more realistic of what we're trying to do. The problem on this hole, especially a par 3, is we wouldn't want to be here and 60 yards short, but we do always find ourselves here sometimes. So let's get up on the green. So guys, up onto the green now. So first ball I'm coming to is the 52, which did do a lot better than I thought, because it did land short of the green and it has ran up, and I would say we'd be inside so around about 27 feet away there. So 27 feet is outside the tour average. So from this distance, between 50 yards and 75, we're looking at the tour average of around 15 feet. The best on tour over the season was just under 10 feet. So there, I'm not near the average. I've hit a good shot, but I'm inside that area where I'd be expected to two-putt. So I've hit a good shot, I'm on the green, I've left myself an uphill putt, I haven't gone long into any trouble. So that's not necessarily a bad thing, but you see there, a perfect strike, it's very hard for me to pick a landing zone. I landed it short of the hump just before the green, so when we're playing uphill, if that had bounced into that, I'd have had probably 60-70 feet, which from there I'm expected to three-putt. So we're making it much harder for myself, trying to be delicate, get the ball running, very small landing zone. Second shot We obviously use the 56. The 56 for me here has come to around about just probably between 9 and 10 feet. So probably that's up there with the best on tour. Wasn't a great strike, so again, going to something, not hitting it perfect. I've got my stance correct, I'm going to get that low point better. I'm a little bit more positive, a little bit more aggressive because I'm landing this shot on the green. I can commit to that shot, and even a bad one there on that occasion has gone to around about the best on tour. Doesn't mean I'm going to hole it from there, but it gives me a lot better chance, and what it's made me be able to do is I'm underneath the hole. I've not gone long, I know the trouble was long, this is a short-sided flag, so I've given myself an uphill chance of getting out of here with a par on the par 3. But you see two different options there. So the first hole, when we played into that one, downhill, not much trouble in front, we want something that's going to bounce on, we can pick a landing zone better. We went less loft, we took speed out, shorter swing, more direct. When we're hitting up to a raised green, we need to start thinking we need a little bit more loft. We need to be more aggressive, especially to a back pin. We can be landing it further, committing to the shot, but we've got to make sure that our setup's correct. Well, guys, hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully that's something for you to think about when you're playing your tournaments now. It's going to be 30 degrees, even in the north of England tomorrow, so it's going to start to firm up even more. So think about what kind of shots you've got over the coming weeks. Comment below what kind of shots, what kind of situations you want to see out of the rough, over bunkers, longer shots into the green. Guys, hopefully that's helped you, and we'll see you again later in the week.